getting uncomfortable with connecting with new people and just learning who they were and what they were about. If I want to expand myself in my life, I have to be willing to put myself into experiences and perspectives that are going to challenge my way of thinking and my way of being and my way of doing to allow me to evolve, to figure out what's for me, and to keep going. Welcome to the Riley June Show. I'm your host, Riley June, international intuition coach and spiritual activator. This podcast is designed for the souls who are ready to dive into what spirituality, consciousness, and healing truly is like. Here you will find the conversations and insight most spiritual teachers aren't willing to have. Why? Because we pull back the curtain on what truly takes place as you move through your healing journey, the duality of the light and the dark, and the role ethics and integrity undeniably play in your ascension experience. I have had the pleasure of working with tens of thousands of people, from clients, stories shared through messenger chats, and others in the industry to know exactly what this journey will look like for you. These episodes will share conversations of industry leaders bridging the gap to the new paradigm of reality, and individuals sharing their heart through their soul's journey they've been through and what they've learned along the way. So if you're ready to go deep, unlock truth, and activate into the blueprint of you, this is going to be a space you're not going to want to miss out every Monday. Are you ready? Let's activate. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another session. Once again, I am so excited about this episode again. Honestly, I just get so lit up to record these podcast episodes. In the very beginning of starting a podcast, this isn't what we're going to be talking about today, but just to give some context, I guess, into the journey of growing and evolving yourself. When I first started and had the idea to begin a podcast, I made sure that I was going to follow through with that task that I was setting. And I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, which is so incredible and so grateful to see that you guys are loving these episodes each week. We have over 20,000 downloads now on the podcast, which is so incredible. And you have to understand too, that 20,000, a big bulk of them really truly came from the last probably 12 to 18 months alone. So whenever you're starting something, do your best to really manage your expectations surrounding what you're doing and where you're at, especially in the starting point. Unless you have that team or that coach or that agency behind you to really get your stuff out into the world in a more authoritative purpose. My goal in the beginning was just that I love talking and I love sharing all things about energy, intuition, now faith, education, ethics, moral standards, guides, all the things that I just needed another outlet, and I wanted another outlet to be able to provide that value and that insight and knowledge to you guys. So I want to thank you for tuning in each week. If you are new here, thank you so much for tuning into your very first episode. I hope you stick around and enjoy it. Today we're going to be talking about the power of networking. I have a little bit of a life update to share with you that I'm really excited about, and 2 announcements before we truly dig in. So announcement number 1 is the Sip and Social Networking Female Entrepreneurship Networking and Small Business Owner event is taking place next Thursday. So if you're a healer, a practitioner, you do anything surrounding massage, nails, salons, fitness, real estate agents, truly, if you are someone in Edmonton and surrounding area and you are wanting to start, or already have an established name in your business, come and join us. There is such an incredible benefit, and we're going to talk about this today, both from the perspective of those who are on that self-development journey, equally for entrepreneurs as well. There is such a benefit to getting into rooms and getting into containers with people who think and who are striving for better in their life, ultimately following their passions. And this is such a great opportunity for those of you in Edmonton to come and collect some content for your social medias. The cafe that we're going to be hosting this at Brew and Bloom Cafe is absolutely stunning. If you have never been there before, definitely Google them, check them out on Instagram. It is so worth it. We're going to have hors d'oeuvres, so there's going to be some yummy food to eat. We're going to play some games so we can truly network and really experience getting to know other people and what they're doing in the world. Honestly, the best of collaborations come from getting in the room with other women. It's one thing to intend to connect with people online. It's truly another thing to get in person with people and to share what you do and talk about what you do and who you help. And, maybe you find the perfect person, a great idea, a download, inspiration that you truly wouldn't have gotten from anywhere else. And so Kim, Stacy, and I are going to be bringing these events more frequently to Edmonton. We all got together one afternoon. Again, the power of getting into in person with people. And we actually met through a membership that is founded out of the States. So it was just truly by divine intervention that we all ended up in this group and we all connected, and we were all from Edmonton. And we got together at Remedy Cafe on 124th, and we looked at each other and we're like, man, I am so sick of watching everybody have these wicked events throughout the States, and there's literally nothing here unless you're going to fly or you're going to travel and it's going to take a long time, or you got to put out for hotels. And we realized that there was such a need for this here. So we're going to be hosting the first Sip and Social, but do know that there's going to be more, and no better time to get into these rooms than right now. So the link is in my show notes for you to snag your ticket. The second one is the Divine Expander membership. So if you are someone seeking personal and spiritual development and growth, we have 3 pillars of our foundation of knowledge that you will really be able to experience in this space that we really genuinely pride ourselves on. And it is transparency. In order to become more self-aware, you have to learn to become more honest and transparent with yourself. Education, learning about energy and intuition from not only just the intuitive standpoint, but equally the emotional and behavioral and psychological aspects as well. And the faith part, if you've been following along for some time, you've very likely seen that I've come into such a very deep sense of faith and understanding. And I've really found that it just is genuinely the best way. It's actually really funny because I had a conversation with another practitioner today, and we were just talking about how a lot of the spiritual mentalities is this fluidity, this ability to just kind of go and do and choose what you want, which you have free will, but how it's actually diluting our ability not only personally to connect, but equally for our clients to connect in a very foundational way. And it's breeding this validation, which is actually going to be the episode I drop next week for you. So definitely stay tuned for that. That is perpetuating more mental illnesses. So that's going to be a really juicy one. So the Expander membership, we have a special promo on until the end of August. You can join us for $1 for the first 14 days. Really come in, check out the lives, check out the portals, tune into the trainings, network with the community, and really just see if it's a space that you love, and then you can stick with us. And there's no processing fee if you choose to cancel at any particular time. So totally worth your time. And again, equally relevant to getting in the containers with women who are following passions in their lives and making changes and showing up for themselves. It is so, so powerful when we do that. So again, the link for that is in the show notes. You can find it on any of my social medias for either one of these experiences. And it really just depends where you're at. And hopefully you're local and I get to see you in person on the 21st. Either way, I will get to see you in the Expander membership as you come and you pop in. Okay, life update. So I realized the other day that I'm actually farther along than I realized by about a week and a half. So I kept saying like, oh, I'm 24 weeks and I'm like actually almost 26 weeks. And oh, I'm 25 weeks and I'm actually almost 27 weeks, so on and so forth. So I have 13 weeks until baby comes, less than 13 weeks until baby comes. And it's super exciting. In terms of like getting prepared, we're not really super prepared. More so in the sense that we don't have everything set up like we used to. And I know for everyone it's very different. With my first baby, I wanted everything set up like super, super early. With Clara, we kind of already had everything set up. So it was really more so just like a transition. And then with this baby, we've moved and we've gotten rid of pretty much everything, that we've really come back to the basics on like what you actually need for a baby. It's so fun buying all the things, but I have to like sit back and ask myself, what is like necessary? Not from a place of lack or fear, but from a place of just like genuinely, I don't like having a lot of stuff anymore. Having ordered, I don't even know how many 40-yard bins and just throwing stuff out over the last 2 years. But now I'm like, okay, I'm in this more minimalistic kind of perspective and lens in my life. And so all we've really done is we have the crib and the mattress and the sheets. We have the car seat. We have a baby monitor. We have a couple other things. I've really been enjoying thrifting. I realized with my last 2 babies that you buy so much clothes and like half of it never gets worn, or it never gets worn more than once. And so again, just like, okay, what is like realistic? And so I've been having so much fun going thrifting. Actually, our local thrift store, you get these massive bags for $10, and they just stuff them full, whatever they can fit into the bags. And like these women want to get rid of their stuff. So it's just been the best experience. I never thought I would love thrifting. I've also been really enjoying just scrolling on Reels and watching other people thrift and put things together, and like paying attention to the brand names that they're finding. Like one person found a Gucci tie for $10 and they were reselling it for over $80. And then there was another person who found some high-end brand of shoes and they paid $20 and then they were reselling for over $700 on like Poshmark and whatever, eBay, there it is. And it just like, it really made me think about some of the opportunities that we really have around us that we truly overlook. Like I can recall so many times in my lives where I felt so financially strapped, whether it be I didn't have a skill set I could leverage, or like when Phil was going through all his health stuff, I didn't necessarily have the time, and we definitely didn't have the support outside of me to be able to take care of the family. And we really had to rely on family. And I'm just looking at all these people that are creating so many opportunities essentially out of thin air that aren't even necessarily costing them a whole lot of time or money to do. Like one of the best things about entrepreneurship is it really just is you truly leveraging a skill set. And depending on what that skill set is, of course, you're going to naturally want to get better so you can provide a better experience and product. But on top of that, it's like children who are selling their art on Etsy, or who are people who are picking up virtual assisting work because they're very organized so they can help other people stay organized, or branding. Like it's crazy how much our world has evolved and how much opportunity is truly, truly out there. And I'm even going to segue this into our topic today, which is how networking can radically change your life and your business. And that's in the same lens of opportunity. Networking is one of those things that really allows you to become and be exposed to the inspiration that you're likely missing or unable to see or experience for yourself. We are always limited to the default of our perception, meaning that you can only think as far as you know. You can only perceive as much as you grow. And when we allow ourselves to be subjected to different ideas, people doing different things, being in rooms with people having different types of conversations, or a conversation generalized to a specific topic, you will naturally start to evolve your level of thinking because, again, you're being exposed in a different way. I remember when I want to say about a year into my business. At this point, I was like maybe just crossing the $2,000 mark a month. And I was putting in a lot of work to make that kind of money at the time. And I went to my business paid for, which was so incredible, an opportunity for me to go to a networking event and just female entrepreneurship and development conference in San Diego. And this was the first time that I ever left my house by myself. I flew by myself and went to a networking event. I had another girlfriend who was joining me from she was from Toronto, so she flew out from Toronto, I flew out from Alberta, and we were meeting, so we had a room together. But equally, one of my clients at the time was also going to this event. And so the three of us decided to get together and split a room, making it even more affordable. And it was just such an incredible experience to be in a room with women who were making 5 figures a month, multiple 5 figures a year, multiple 6 figures a month, multiple 6 figures of a year in different genres and areas of their life. But ultimately, we all relatively had the same problem. It was client retention, lead generation, self-confidence, and just truly the understanding that we get to continue to grow in our skill set. And if I wouldn't have gone to this conference, I wouldn't have met some really incredible key people who have been a huge, massive influence in my life and my business. And there were many people in that room who were genuinely just there because they had an idea that they wanted to execute on, but they didn't know where to start. And for a lot of those women being in the Facebook group after, they came home from that conference and they took massive action and really built something incredible for themselves. Some of them even the night of the day after the first day they even sat down with their laptop and they executed on certain things and had something to share or to show for in the Facebook group, literally before the conference was over. And what's so powerful about it is that you get the opportunity. I really believe that this is a big component of the growth that happens, or why growth happens. It's because you get the opportunity to truly be around people where you get to reinvent yourself, right? If I were to go into a setting or an environment that is neutral to me, so friends, family, even people that I know from my past, it's not quite the same because they've already developed a preconceived idea of who I am. So there's going to be a higher level of self-worry or fear surrounding, oh my gosh, are they going to judge me? What are they going to think of me? What if they think that I'm crazy? What if they give me the statistics on all of this and how this is going to fail, right? So I have more, and naturally people will have more of that limitation when they're trying to reinvent themselves around people who they are or have been in an environment with before. But when you go to conferences and networking events, whether it's be for personal reasons, whether it be for business reasons, you're around people who have very likely never met you before. So your ability to introduce yourself in a new way, in this empowered state that you have been working on, that you have been developing, this mindset, showing up as an authority, getting dressed up, doing whatever it is you want to do, present yourself however you want to present, gives you this rare experience that is not becoming so rare anymore, but this experience of truly standing in that power of this new story of what you are creating within your mind. And there's something so powerful about that, because you don't have this oh my gosh, what are they going to think of me? Oh my gosh, are they going to judge me? Because they're also there doing the exact same thing. So even if you had that fear, they have it too. And they're not focused on their preconceived ideas of you. They're focused in on themselves. So they're actually going to likely be more attentive to what you're saying and doing because they're also trying to find their way in the new mold that they are creating. Networking can radically shift your business, not only and equally just your life. Not only from the context of you being able to reinvent yourself and really stand in that authority and really leave behind the judgment, but also in your ability to find people who are like-minded to collaborate with. Whether it's another mom who believes the same things that you do, whether it's another spiritual entrepreneur who maybe offers a slightly varied experience than you do, but you totally click and you absolutely align and you want to do a giveaway or you want to run a program, or maybe you offer something totally different, but it's the perfect combination for that next stage and growth of the ascension ladder in both of your businesses. Like, networking is so valuable because at the end of the day, and maybe you've heard this saying before, it's not even necessarily about the credentials that you have, it's about the connections that you have that is going to get you further. And in many experiences, even currently in my life and business, I invest in being in the rooms with people, both online and in person, where I know that I'm going to equally be challenged and be able to continue to find myself in that new authority, in that new identity that I am building and creating. There's a membership experience that I joined a few months ago, and it is just solely based surrounding mindset. And this incredible person, Craig Siegel, he's been on the podcast before. I think the episode is called Going All In. I highly recommend you go back and you find it. It's super powerful. He has a membership where he brings in guest experts, speakers, celebrities, athletes, top entrepreneurs to speak to the community. And it's something that is truly so valuable because for him, he started his brand less than 2 years ago. And what got him to a top ranking podcast in honestly less than 18 months was because of his willingness to get into the rooms and get in the rooms and to continue to go up to people who were doing big things in the world and talk to them and network with them and get to know them and support them and share their work and just provide a lot of value for them. And that is what perpetuated his then ability to connect with other top ranking people, leaders, phenomenal people across the world, which gave him then more leverage to this membership experience that he builds for other people, right? So the value is so much more than just the money you pay to be in the room, in the community, at the event, right? It is truly so much more. Even that event that I went to, I had some of the most incredible conversations with women equally, that I got to support them and they got to support me, and them just sharing their stories and their experiences. And that was something that I didn't have where I was at in my life at that time. I had stepped away from a lot of my friends at the time. We just weren't aligned anymore. Our values and just the directions that we were headed in life just weren't aligned. So I didn't really have a lot of friends. Really, my only good true friend was out in Toronto. And so we couldn't just get together whenever we wanted, but we were able to essentially fly across the country and go to the States and go and join this experience. And that has been the case in many instances. Going and meeting these two women that I'm now co-hosting this Sip and Social event with. We met through a program that is founded out of the States, and we got together for coffee and lunch, and we just chatted and we just collaborated. And we do very different things. One of them is purely mindset and works more with a universal approach. The other one is a business mentor. She's built multiple $1 million businesses throughout her life as an entrepreneur. and runs a coaching business and is very based off of psychology and emotions and behaviors. And then my business is very faith-based, intuition-based, energy-based, right? So we have different things that we offer, but our goals and what we want to see take place are very similar. So we can come together with different backgrounds and beliefs, and we can put together these experiences that are truly so, so incredible. And that's the power of collaboration. And again, even if you're in a personal journey, right? Get in the mom groups if you're a mom and just put yourself out there. When I moved to where I live today, I went into the Facebook group and just said, hey, we just moved to town. I'm soliciting my family. This is kind of the generalization of our beliefs and, what we want to see happen in the world or what's going on. And, no shade to anyone who sees or believes in something different, but we're just looking for community. We're looking to find like-minded people, especially people with kids. And if that's you, please feel free to reach out. Let's set up a play date. And sure, it's super awkward when you have people you don't know coming to your house. And it was -30 at the time, so I was not about to meet them at the park. But again, it's what am I sitting around waiting for? Am I really, at the time, was I going to wait for another 6 months or 4 months for spring or summer to come around to go meet them at the park? Or did I want to see something happen now that I got to execute on? And that's exactly what I did. And we met incredible people, absolutely incredible people that even led us to the church that we now go to that has just completely deepened our faith. And to the extent where I am actually getting rebaptized at the end of August and just recommitting myself and my life and the way that I parent to Jesus Christ and God and just that teaching and understanding and faith. And I would have never, if you would have told me that I was going to be getting rebaptized even a year ago, I would have said no, probably not. But it's through that power of community and then equally the growth and evolution in mine and my husband's faith that led us to these people that brought us to this church that allowed us to develop this network. And we have met so many incredible parents and couples and kids who have similar beliefs, obviously, but even with homeschooling, with how we see the world, even in some of them who have a difference in opinion about what's going on in the world, we primarily focus on the betterment of our children and being compassionate towards each other. And it's created so many friendships that I never would have anticipated that I could ever have or find. So it's the fear that you have of being judged is not as dominant or shouldn't be as dominant as the fear of actually staying where you are. And that is something I always weigh whenever I'm wanting to do something new or challenge myself in a new way, whether that's networking, community building, going to church, getting baptized, opening up my schedule to actually incorporate things with other people in it. I used to literally work and then me and my husband would play with the kids, do stuff with the kids, clean the house, make dinner, do bedtime routines, and then go to bed. That was our life for almost 5 years straight. And moving to where we've moved and networking with all these extra people, we set aside a couple hours once a week to go over to each other's houses and to do Bible study or to have a coffee in the yard and a fire. And it's something that I never thought that I would really enjoy. I mean, the idea sounds good in theory, but when you're not exposed to those things, it can feel very overwhelming, right? Oh, well, what if I'm tired that day and I have to hold a conversation? What if, I don't have anything to say? What if they say something that triggers me? What if, I'm at their house and something happens and I need to leave? It's well, then leave, right? If they trigger you, have the conversation or leave. If they say something you don't like, like ask yourself why, or, again, have the conversation. Like, it's such an opportunity for growth that is so truly overlooked because human beings have become so conditioned to isolate themselves, especially over the past 2 years. But even more so to not go outside of their comfort zone, that we need these safe spaces. One of my biggest problems with the whole feminism movement is that it's all about essentially demonizing men, and it's like, how is that empowering at all? You're literally taking what you think that they're doing and you're making them the bad guys in this. It's like, if you really are leading from that place of empowerment, then the whole purpose is that you understand you get to rise alongside them, right? If you want to kick them off the top of the pyramid, how is that any better than what you say that they're doing to them? I'm not saying that there's not injustices that take place, but statistically, women actually don't get paid less than men. In some industries, obviously that is not the case. But more often, women actually get paid 34 cents more because they also will likely take more of a maternity leave or have a greater potential for those maternity leaves. So women are paid relatively equally, if not slightly more than men when in workplace environments. So it's one of those things where I think a lot of people are fighting for something that they may not totally understand, or because they're truly rooted in a wound, which ultimately holds us back from being able to see a bigger picture, to thrive in a more unified and justified way, but equally allow ourselves to really step away from the judgment aspect of it. And even in terms of feminism, I don't know why this is coming up. Oh, I do know why this is coming up. My brain just kicked in. In terms of feminism, within that culture, within that belief or ideology, it is very toxic for women, because then it says, oh, you're trying to evolve yourself, but you need to be the one who goes out and makes the money, not your husband. It's like, who cares? Like, if that's what you're striving for, man, I'll shoot off the fireworks for you. Give her, right? It's not my goal to make more money than my husband. It's never been my goal to do better than my husband. I take his last name because that's a part of the union in marriage. Again, if you see this differently, then by all means, you're absolutely welcome to. But it's like, if you want equality in your life and you want to really be able to overcome judgment in your life, most importantly, in terms of this in yourself, you have to be willing to lead with that example, which means not judging other people for what they're doing, not judging other women for what they are not doing that you believe in, right? Even with my beliefs surrounding God, I truly do and have found the best way to work with intuition. Other people might disagree. And in many, many cases, I can make a very great argument as to why what I perceive and what I believe is very radically true. But if someone doesn't want to receive that, I'm not going to judge you for that. You have, what's the point? How does that, I'm not here to be better than you. I'm not here to insert myself into your life. You came here willingly. You choose to come here willingly, to take away, to tune in, to, do whatever you choose to do. But in many ways, that doesn't mean that we can't have debates. And equally, going back to my example of getting in rooms and chats with other moms in the communities, right? So what if they trigger you? What a great opportunity to practice finding compassion for yourself and others, right? And hey, maybe they're not a great fit for you, and that's okay too. But ultimately, what I want to leave you with is networking will radically change your life and your business through and through every time. One, because it's a huge opportunity to reinvent yourself and to be in a space where other people are very likely doing the same too, as well as an opportunity to find like-minded people who you can collaborate on or get that inspiration or be challenged in different ways of your perception and your experience and your beliefs and your actions to help you to grow and evolve. I'll leave you with one more example. One of the women that we met through networking in our community, just personally for me and my husband and our family, she is so organized financially it just absolutely blows my mind. Like, I have never seen this level of organization, and equally in some of the things that she shared, she's opened up to just kind of how she got to that space of really valuing the importance of that. And that's not like, like you shouldn't do that kind of thing. Like, it is phenomenally impressive. And it has challenged me to really look at the ways in which I can create more organization within my financials. Like, this woman is so incredible. She pre-plans Christmas, and she may even listen to this episode. So hi. She pre-plans Christmas like 6-7 months out. Whereas like me and Phil, we were pre-planning Christmas like 14-20 days out. And it's just like really being exposed to her way of thinking has helped me to evolve my way of thinking. Is there resistance on, oh my gosh, like I got to pre-plan this all of a sudden and keeping up with the Joneses? Sure. But it's like, how is this actually bettering my life versus my initial emotional reaction to it, which was a sense of comparison, or I can't do that, or I'm not organized enough for that, or whatever the personal judgment that was that came up for that. But just continuing to expose myself to it, I realized very quickly anyways, but then like actually understanding it, how beneficial it is overall, and that it's not a threat to me whatsoever. Not that I saw her as a threat, but that experience that she created for herself and her family, thinking about it being my experience for myself and my family, my body perceived it as a threat. So it created anxiety. That doesn't mean that because I was triggered that there's something wrong with her, there's something wrong with me. It just means that I really got to take a step back and deeper reflect on what was coming up for me. And that's what I'm talking about when I say getting into networks and connections and communities with other people. Moms, this is a great one for you because we tend to isolate ourselves to all the 100 other tasks that we think we're going to do that we never do. But then we forget that really it's truly about the betterment of our children. And so that was something that I really came to value both in my personal life and in my business, was getting uncomfortable with connecting with new people and just learning who they were and what they were about. If I want to expand myself in my life, I have to be willing to put myself into experiences and perspectives that are going to challenge my way of thinking and my way of being and my way of doing to allow me to evolve, to figure out what's for me and to keep going. So I'm going to leave you with that today. This was a bit of a longer episode, but I really hope that you gathered some good info from this in terms of just like where you can better improve your experience personally and in your business. And again, if you are on that self-development journey and you're looking to be in a container with other like-minded people growing and evolving themselves, come and join us in the Online Expander membership community. And if you are a local female entrepreneur and business owner in Edmonton and surrounding area, come and join us in person for the Sip and Social networking event taking place on July 21st. All the links are in the show notes. And I'm going to leave you with this parable. So this really just speaks to the context of what we've been talking about today. And this parable is in the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 21 to 25, and it says, "He said to them, 'Do you bring in a lamp to put it under a bowl or a bed? Instead, don't you put it on its stand? For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open. If anyone has ears to hear, let them hear. Consider carefully what you hear,' he continued. 'With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and even more. Whoever has will be given more. Whoever does not, even what they have will be taken from them.'" And ultimately, this passage is really just speaking to that we are always trying to get around what is coming up for us. A fear of being seen, a fear of being heard, a fear of being discovered, a fear of something deep within us being shown. And as we allow ourselves to get into the room with other people, to be exposed to different perceptions and beliefs, ultimately open up our minds and our ears and our hearts and our eyes to seeing things differently, we truly can bring better to light. And that's really the premise of this episode today. And what I love so much about this passage is that it really gives context to the fact that you can't hide. Like, you can genuinely, thoroughly try, but eventually it's going to come to light, whether it be in your own self-demise or whether it be in a social deconstruction or a relational deconstruction. Like, you can only hide the parts of you that you're ashamed to show the world or to show other people for so long. And that those who are willing to try will truly be given more opportunities to try. And if you continue to hide, you will continue to create more and more of your own demise. So I want to leave that with you because it really gives this broader, more expanded view of what happens when we allow fear to stop us or hinder us from not only seeking a deeper truth within us, but also to expanding ourselves into a place and space where we really truly could grow and thrive, again, if we're willing to try. Before you go, I would love and appreciate so much if you could take a moment of your time to leave a 5-star review. It helps me to be able to get this message out to so many more in the world, and I am so truly thankful that you choose this place to be every single week. Until next time, don't forget to find the magic in today.